Hey guys, I'm doing well today. In today's video, we talk about the Crusaders versus the Hurricanes in round 2 of Super Rugby Aotearoa. Before I start, just want to let you guys know that in the description below, there is a promo code that you guys can use, and it's for SWEET, so SWEET, S-W-E-E-T, for 25% off on the Fnatic store, so highly suggest to click the link below. And yeah, that promo code will be available to use from, I think, starting tomorrow, from Saturday, all the way to Tuesday. So just, yeah, 25% off on most of the products on Fnatic store. So yeah, highly suggest to use it. Definitely get something there. I'm most likely to get something. So yeah, definitely use the promo code below. Anyway, let's get on to the video. So yeah, with the Crusaders and Hurricanes, both sides obviously coming back from different results, you can say, from round 1. Crusaders obviously got a win under the belts within round 1 by beating the Highlanders within round 1, which is a pretty good result actually. They're doing it away as well. It's a pretty good win. I wouldn't say it was convincing, but more or less they got the job done, and I would say the standout players were Cody Taylor and Sever Reese really within that game. And then overall, I think they just dominated the game. I mean, they really went off to a very good start, but other than that, they just really had to held their own. At the end of the day, they did pretty well. But on the other hand, you could say that Hurricanes, yeah, they had an unfortunate start in the sense which they would have liked to win, obviously, the opening game, but of course they had to go against the Blues, which are obviously a tough opposition to face against within the opening round. And yeah, they kind of got, they were very close within most parts of the game, but I think the Blues just they made the result pretty much their own within the last 20 minutes, I would say. But yeah, the Hurricanes will be looking to get their first win under the belts, and obviously, I think this is probably the best opportunity to do it, make a name for yourself. And yeah, the Hurricanes were actually the only team last season to actually get a win in Christchurch, so that's definitely something that, the Hurricanes will have over the Crusaders, and yeah, definitely a lot of Crusaders players will be thinking about that, so be certain that this will be definitely a revenge match, you can say, for the Crusaders. But anyway, yeah, here's the lineups for both sides. I'd say most sides haven't made too many changes, I'd say. I mean, the Crusaders have made, I think, only 2 changes to the side from last week's, and yeah, I think the Hurricanes they've made some changes, but not as many as you would think. So I'll just go over the squads and tell you what I think about them, and I'll give my prediction right after. So yeah, with the props for both sides, with the Crusaders, obviously they have Joe Moody and Aotearoa, and that's pretty decent props, and I thought they performed very well within the opening round. I think they were probably, in my opinion, the best 2 props you played within the opening round, so I think overall they did pretty well, and they'll be going against the likes of Fraser Armstrong and Tyrell Lomax. So it is a very tough competition, and I'd say Armstrong and Lomax is a pretty good duo in the sense of they've done very well within scrums. But I think within that section or area, I'm going to give it to the Crusaders. I just think they have more experience within the propping position, and I expect them to do well. So moving on to the hookers, obviously with the Crusaders, you do have Cody Taylor, and he'll be going against the likes of Aotearoa. And this will be a very interesting battle. You could say one of the key battles within the game, because obviously both hookers actually had standout performances within the opening round. And yeah, this is a tough one. Normally I would say Cody Taylor would win it immediately, but Aotearoa has really been proving himself. He's really stood out within the last few games, particularly the opening round, and I'd say the last few games of the previous comp. And yeah, I think he's really, he's a hooker for the future. Definitely an All Black contender for sure. But I think I'll still edge it towards Cody Taylor. I mean, that's purely on the basis where I just think he's just a level above what Aotearoa is. But I wouldn't be surprised if Aotearoa does become a better hooker than Cody Taylor. Mark my word, I wouldn't be surprised about that. So yeah, moving on to the locks. The locks is, it's a pretty interesting position, obviously, with the Crusaders having Scott Barrett, who is obviously the captain, of course, for the Crusaders, and his partner in crime is Samuel Whitelock. And then they'll be going against the likes of James Blackwell and Walker Lazare for the Hurricanes, which is interesting because, Walker Lazare is coming in, obviously, for Scott Scrapton, who did start the previous one. So that's an interesting switch right there, and hopefully it might help them within the lineouts, especially, because that was an area which they lost a lot of the battles against the Blues. But yeah, I think within this position, it's a hard one not to just give it to the Crusaders, because they have so much Super Rugby experience with the likes of Whitelock, and Scott Barrett has just been, he's continuously, he's always in form essentially. But I wouldn't be surprised if James Blackwell has a good game though. So I'm an edge towards Crusaders, but I wouldn't be surprised if Blackwell has a very good game for the Hurricanes. So yeah, moving on to the loose forwards. Loose forwards on both sides, obviously for the Crusaders, they do have the likes of Ethan Blackletter, Tom Christie, and obviously Cullen Grace, I believe. Yeah, Cullen Grace at number 8. So that's an interesting choice right there. They could have gone with Douglas, but more or less they've stuck with Cullen Grace at 8, and I think that's probably the right decision. I think he was I'd probably say the standout player for the Actually, no, I would say Blackletter was the standout loose forward for the Crusaders within the opening round. But they'll be going against the likes of, obviously, Reed, Princept, Duplessis Karifi, and Artis Sevilla, who's obviously the captain, and he's at number 8 position. So, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting battle. I'll probably say this is the key battle within the whole game, really, is between the loose forwards, in my opinion. I mean, you could say maybe it's... Yeah, no, I'd probably say it's the loose forwards. Yeah, loose forwards is probably the key battle, and I'd probably say it's the number 8 position, and I think... Yeah, that battle between Cullen Grace and Artis Sevilla would be one heck of a battle, and I think whoever does better within the breakdown will probably have the better chance of winning. And Artis Sevilla was brilliant within the breakdown last week against the Blues, so hopefully he can continue that and hopefully get his first win as captain for the Hurricanes. But anyway, moving on to the number 9 position. You know, I think it's an interesting one because obviously you do have a switch in play, obviously for Bryn Hall coming out for Mitch Drummond, who's actually starting ahead of him, which is interesting to see, and that's kind of not expected in a sense. It's kind of expected, I mean, because obviously they do switch time to time, so that's kind of usual. But then he is going against the likes of Jonathan Tomea, who has done very. I wouldn't say he's done very well, but he did look like he has some potential there. You know, obviously they are missing TJ Paranoia that was seen within that last game, and yeah, hopefully Hopefully Jonathan can actually do better within this game, but I do think I'm going to edge it towards Mitchell Drummond within that, purely on the basis where he has more Super Rugby experience. So on the 10 position, I think this is the easiest one I'm going to select. I mean, with number 10, you have Richie Moana, and then with number 10 for the Hurricanes, you do have Jackson Garden-Bishop. Garden-Bishop has done very well, I'd say, for the Hurricanes. I think he has slightly, improved over time, and I think he will continue his, improving on his game. But I think there's no question. I'm going to select here Richie Moana as the better fly up, and I just think he'll do a better job within this game. Especially, he didn't actually stand out like he normally does within Super Rugby within that opening round against the Highlanders, but hopefully he'll be able to stand out within this game, and particularly he'll be one of the players who I can definitely tell who want revenge after the last time these two played in Christchurch. But yeah, moving on to the winger. Actually, no, I'll go into the centres. So with the centres, obviously, with the Crusaders, you do have Dallas McLeod and Jack Goodhue, which I think was a good combination, actually. Also, they are missing the likes of Brandon Enor, who is still injured, which is unfortunate to see, and obviously he won't be playing for the rest of the season, but more or less, that's still going to be a player I'll always talk about, because he was just so influential towards this Crusaders side. But yeah, overall, I think that combination is pretty good, and they'll be going against the likes of Liam Mape and Peter Munga-Jensen. So this is actually the area which I think the Hurricanes actually have the edge over the Crusaders. I mean, even though they have the likes of Jack Goodhue, I mean, the Hurricanes have Liam Mape and Peter Munga-Jensen, who was, in my opinion, one of the most improved players throughout last competition. So yeah, I'm gonna edge it towards the Hurricanes within the center spot, and I think Liam Mape hopefully can have a good game. We'll see what happens there. But the last time he did play against the Crusaders, yeah, he was a force to be reckoned with, so watch out. So moving on to the wingers, of course, for the 11 spots, you do have the likes of, Leicester, and then for the Hurricanes, you do have Julian Sevilla, so that will be a very interesting battle in the sense where there are two different wingers in the sense where Julian Sevilla is more of a battering ram and how he just pushes people over. But then you do have Leicester, who's really just skillful in his play and is very good airily. Well, they're both good airily, but more or less Leicester is just a quicker player, so we'll see what happens there. And yeah, within the 14 position, you do have the likes of Sever Reese, and then for the Hurricanes, you have Wes Goosen. So I think within that section, I'm probably edging towards the Crusaders, putting on the basis which I think Sever Reese is just a standout winger at the moment. He's one of the most informed wingers, you could say, within the comp. But more or less, yeah, I think the Crusaders would edge that position. So yeah, with the last position, obviously, you do have the number 15 spot, and with the Crusaders, you do have David Havili, which is interesting to see, obviously, because he was. Yeah, it's just good to see him in the starting lineup. Obviously, you do have the likes of Will Jordan, and he is on the bench, but I think he's still recovering from that injury knock, so I think it's just a knock, really. But more or less, it's good to see David Havili starting, because he's a very, very decent player, and he's so versatile, and he's very good within the air, and he'll be going against the likes of, obviously, Jordie Barrett. So that's probably the other key battle within this game. I think I'm going to edge it towards Jordie Barrett, obviously, because Jordie Barrett, in my opinion, is just New Zealand's future 15. And he just has that aerial ability, kicking ability, and he was very good with his kicking within the last round. It was very unfortunate not to do that kick, by the way. But I mean, from a Blues fan, I was like, yes. But from the Hurricanes, everyone was like, what? But anyway, I'll move on from that. But yeah, overall, I think that's kind of it really with both lineups really. I mean, if I had to say a prediction for this game, I'd probably edge it towards the Crusaders in my opinion. I think the Crusaders are just too strong, and yeah, I'll probably say the Crusaders will win this by 10, to be honest. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is a closer game, but I am making it. I normally say it's closer, but just because it's Crusaders, I'm going to say it's going to be by at least 10. So I'll say they'll win it by 30 points to 20. Yeah, 30 points to 20 to the Crusaders. So anyway, just hope you guys have a good day, and like I said before, click the link in the description for that code, and yeah, just see you guys next time.